Hello YouTube community and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be discussing sample rates. Well, I'm not here to really explain to you what sample rates are in detail because there's plenty of videos on that in this platform, YouTube, or even if you search the web. I'm here to give you my point of view on sample rates. Sample rates. And this is, once again, it's an open discussion. If you have any questions or any concerns, or if you think I'm wrong about something and you want to give me your points on how you feel, please feel free to write it in the comment section, okay? So what is a sample rate? Sample rate is the number of samples of audio carried per second, measured in hertz or kilohertz. 1 kilohertz being 1,000 hertz. Okay, so we got that clear. For example, 44,100 samples per second can be expressed as either 44,100 or 44.1 kilohertz. Let me say that again. 44,100 samples per second can be expressed as either 44,100 hertz or 44.1 kilohertz. Okay, so we got that clear. That's pretty basic. I mean, we pretty much been through that. We have CDs. The CD standard is 16-beat. 44.1 kilohertz. Bandwidth is the difference between the highest and lowest frequencies carried in an audio stream. The sample rate of a playback or recording determines the maximum audio frequency that can be reproduced, as shown below. So as we see on the left, we have the sample rates and the maximum frequency. As we go down the list and we look at 44 kilohertz, it has a maximum frequency of 20 kilohertz. So, that's pretty much the human hearing right there, the human ear. Most of us can hear up to 20. Some could hear up to 22, but that's the rare few. And when you get older, that changes. So, sample rate of 96K has a maximum frequency of 43.6 kilohertz. Okay, so that's like double what we could hear. All right, so for audio work, a bandwidth is normally about 20 hertz less than the highest recorded frequency. So for practical purposes, they can be treated as the same thing. Hence, the terms are used interchangeably here. The terms bandwidth may be applied to the frequency content of an audio signal stream or the frequency ability for audio hardware or software. And the source for this is Audacity website. So which sample rate to use? This is the question that is being discussed among audio engineers, music producers, pretty much anyone in the audio community once you get into producing and recording. So 44.1 kilohertz. It's the same thing as 44,100 hertz. All right, so let's go to this slide. So 44.1 kilohertz is the sampling rate of an audio CDs, giving you a 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz maximum frequency. 20 kilohertz is the highest frequency generally audible by humans, so making 44.1 kilohertz is the logical choice for most audio material. Okay, that's clear. We all know that. It's, some people don't want to admit it. They think that, the higher we put that sampling rate, the better it sounds. Well, yeah, technically it is more quality, but can we actually hear it? That's the question. High quality tape decks using metal tape and medium quality LP equipment can reproduce 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz. Higher top quality LP equipment to some of this harmonic distortion inherent in the medium. Note that upper limit of human hearing falls rapidly with age. So while people in their teens can hear 20 kilohertz, many older people cannot hear above 14.5 kilohertz. Ouch. Okay, 48 kilohertz. 48 kilohertz or 48,000 hertz is the sample rate used for DVDs. So if you're creating DVD audio discs from Audacity projects, you might prefer to work with this setting. Okay, doesn't have to be Audacity, because once again, the source for this is Audacity website, but you don't need to. You could do this on any DAW. But pretty much, yeah, 44.1 is the standard because of the limits of our human hearing. So, yes, you could record at a higher sampling rate, but it's not everybody who is going to be able to hear, to appreciate all of that, unless you are a dog or a bat or some sort of marsupial. I don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to provide you with some examples of microphones. Some famous microphones that we use on a day-to-day basis to record, okay? So here we have the Shure SM57, which is a dynamic microphone. And that microphone goes for about $100. It's really famous. As a matter of fact, I have one somewhere around here. Let me see if I can. As you can see, I have one right here. This is an SM57. So anyway, very good microphone it has its purpose in the studio, especially recording loud sources like guitar cabinets and also snare drums and stuff like that. But you can record a whole album with that. I'm not too into it with vocals, but yeah, there's people that record vocals with it. So anyway, let's go back to the slide. So the microphone, it's a dynamic, and it goes for around $100, like I said. And if we go down the list, that microphone has a maximum frequency response of 15 kilohertz. Okay, you see that? That means that this microphone, which is, you have thousands of records recorded with this microphone, the maximum frequency is 15 kilohertz. So you're not recording anything above that. Okay? Now, granted, if you use a preamp that is introducing harmonics on a higher frequency, you might notice a difference. That's why when you have really expensive preamps, they tend to sound a little better. But still, there's a cutoff in sound capturing on this, which is 15 kilohertz. So keep that in mind. So what that comes down to, sample rate of 44 kilohertz, that's a frequency response of 22 kilohertz. So, I mean, you have to remember that. This is this microphone, and you're recording at 44.1 is perfect. There's no loss of quality because this is way below what 44.1 could do. Let's go to the next microphone. Oh, another thing to take into consideration is the Nyquist theorem and aliasing. I'm not going to talk about that here. I'm not talking about, because that's another subject that you can search here in the YouTube. I'm not trying to make this video an hour long. The next microphone is the Shure SM7B, which happens to be this microphone that I'm using right now. And it goes for around $400 at the time of the recording of this video. And this microphone, has a frequency response of 20 kilohertz. So this goes right with the limits of human hearing, with the vast majority of human hearing. And it goes for $400. So completely suitable to be recording with 44.1 is perfect. You'll be able to record frequencies that this microphone could capture. Okay? So once again, remember, you have to keep in mind the sample rate of 44K. It has a frequency response of 22 kilohertz. So this microphone is way below, not way below, I'm sorry. So this microphone is capable of being within those frequencies. And 44.1 has the frequencies needed to record whatever this microphone can take. Okay, so by you recording at 96, you're not going to record anything special more than that 44.1 with this microphone. All right, let's go to the next slide. Next microphone is the AKG C414 XLS. I have this actually I have two of these microphones. Really good microphones. They're great. And as you see, this microphone goes for around $1,000 or so at the time of this recording. And this one has a maximum response of 20 kilohertz. Once again, this microphone has a top frequency of 20 kilohertz. So even if you record at 96K, you're not really going to notice a difference between the recording with this microphone because the top frequency is 20 kilohertz. So, recording, you wouldn't notice a difference. People might say they do, but you don't. It all comes down to your preamp if it's introducing harmonics in those frequencies above 20K. Okay? Let's be clear on that. Okay, so next slide. Next microphone up is the famous studio standard. This is the famous studio standard U87. This microphone goes for $3,200. So this microphone, which is a great microphone, I also have this microphone. Also, guess what? Also has a top frequency of 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz, I should say. And once again, you could record at 96 or record at 44.1. You're going to get the same quality out of this microphone. Maybe something changes in your recording chain, if you have a preamp. But it's the same thing. The maximum frequency is going to capture is 20 kilohertz. We clear on that? And it's a $3,200 microphone. And it's really no different than an SM58. Actually, an SM58 goes up to 20K, I believe, too. Or is it 15? I'm not quite sure, but it's really good. All right. So you always have to keep in mind that 22 kilohertz is the maximum frequency that we could record in 44.1. So this microphone is completely suitable to reproduce or to capture, rather, all the frequencies that are in 44.1. All right. Next one up. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. I believe that if you really want to take advantage of 96K, like people are doing nowadays, they say, 96K is the new standard. Okay, fine. You could do that. Even if we can't really hear it, people say that they could feel those frequencies. But, okay. So we have the Manley reference. This microphone is $2,700. And there's very few microphones that could record above 20 kilohertz. And this is one of them. This is a tube condenser mic. I have not worked with this microphone. I'm looking forward to it. But here we see that the frequency response on this one is up to 30 kilohertz. 30 kilohertz. So if we go to sampling rate, it will be double that. That means that you can record at 60K with this microphone and get a decent recording, get all those frequencies, even if we cannot perceive them. So yeah, with this microphone, you can totally record at 96. It's still a little bit overkill at 96, but it will record more frequencies. It will record more frequencies in the higher frequencies. So, you might want to, if you really want to take advantage of 96K while recording sources, then you got to spend the money on microphones and preamps that will go that high. Okay, now let's go with the preamps. So here we have a BAE 1073 preamp, which is like a rack mounted unit. So this one is a single channel unit, and it has a frequency response up to 55 kilohertz. So, this is good. I mean, because even if you record at 96K, it is going to get all those frequencies, but then it comes down also to your microphone. Can your microphone go up to that frequency? I don't know. you will have to do your research. But obviously, it do sound better because of the harmonics. You have to take that into consideration. But if you're using if it comes down just to the microphone, you have to really read specs. Okay. So once again, this is the 1073 BAE makes this, and top frequency 55 kilohertz. That's pretty good. That will be double that is what? It's 110K, right? That's pretty good. That means you could record 96K with this preamp. But once again, it depends on the source you're putting into that preamp. Microphones are not really going to capture that much high unless you're using like a Manley or something else. And, well, if you're recording like a keyboard that has some sounds that go up in that frequency, then yes, definitely you'll take advantage of that. Okay, next up, we have the Avalon, another studio standard. This one goes up to 120K hertz. So, wow, this is in the 200s when it comes to sample rate. So this is great. With this one, you can record even higher than 96K. But once again, it comes down to your source. What are you putting into it? The Avalon and those preamps like the 1073 and the Universal Audio, those are great because of the components. They sound really good. So they'll sound really good even if you record a 44.1. They're still going to sound great because they have great components. Okay, so we got to get that out of the way. This are top-notch equipment that we're talking about here. So they're going to sound good. Converters are great. If you have good converters, and because you have to take all that into consideration too. People think that just because you have a higher sampling rate, you're going to sound better. No, it actually comes down to just your components. If you have higher grade components, good converters that could capture the sound that's coming out of your preamps with harmonics. And also, then it goes down to the microphone. What is the limit of the microphone? And also the components that the microphone has inside, the capsule and all that. So you have to take into consideration all of that before you say, oh, I'm going to record in 96K because it's better. No. Look at your equipment, read on specs, and you'll be fine just recording at 44. Or you could record at 96 if you have decent equipment. But, mixing down, that's a different story. I heard some people that they like to mix down at 96, but they have 44.1 material. I don't know. Okay, next slide. So in summary, okay, what do we have? We take that a sample rate of 44.1K is a professional quality. We've been dealing with this for years, for decades, I should say, since the early 80s. Ever since CDs been introduced in the early 80s, we have been using a sample rate of 44.1K 16 beat. We've been using it, okay? 48K is generally for DVD and film. 96K and above are good for higher quality gear and microphones. Okay, so remember, let's say if you have a Manley with an Avalon going into like a Lynx Aurora or an Apollo converter, then you're good. Then you could say, I could record 96 and I'm going to capture some quality that even though I cannot hear, hopefully somebody will, or a bat or a mouse or a dog is going to appreciate my music. So what else? Plugins and VSTs can benefit from 96K and above because those are frequencies that are created inside a system or a hardware that can produce all that. Although we can't hear it, we kind of like feel it, we can't hear it anyway. Some people say they can hear it. I don't know. Okay, and anyway, most plugins upsample up to 96K internally. So, don't be afraid of using them even if you're running a 44.1 system. They still going to, if you're playing them, they still going to have those higher frequencies. And then if you decide to mix at 96K, you could do that. You don't have to. You know, you could do a test of this, and you know, and then you go because you have even top-notch engineers like Tony Maserati, and he's saying that he does notice a difference between 96K and 44.1. That yeah, there is a difference, but is it something that is it worth taxing your system? And this is something he said in the video. You can look it up. It taxes your system once you start working at 96. Is it worth it? Because most people won't be able to tell the difference. Remember, you have to take into consideration your audience. Okay? And then another thing is, well, the choice is yours. Remember, we're humans. If you feel that that 96K is going to work for you, go ahead and try it. If you like it and it's working for you, do it. But remember, we're humans. And unless we evolve to the fourth dimension, we cannot hear above certain frequencies. And I don't think that's going to change because we're humans. Once again, unless we evolve to the fourth dimension or something, or a miracle happens, we cannot hear above certain frequencies. Okay? So just because a piece of equipment says, okay, I could do 192K, that doesn't mean you have to record at that, because what is the use? You have to analyze what are you using it for? What is your intended purpose? So, okay, guys, this is it for this video. Like I said, it's an open discussion. So feel free to leave comments and let me know how you feel. What are your thoughts on sample rates? I mean, I'm bringing this input now. It's 2018, and I think I'm making some valid points when it comes to gear and how you capturing sound, and what are the limits of sample rate and what are the limits of microphones. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, once again, it's an open discussion. Feel free to leave comments, questions, and let's have fun with it.